Welcome to The Explainer. If you think obesity is just about eating less, moving more, well, you're about to see there's so much more to it. Today, we're really going to uncover the hidden story, the deep biological and environmental forces that are truly at play. But first, a really quick and important heads up. Everything we're about to go over is for educational purposes only. So please, always talk to a healthcare professional for any medical advice about your own health.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by looking at the human side of things, then dive into the fascinating science behind cravings. After that, we'll expose 4 modern traps that make things so tough, and then, and this is the best part, we'll build a real, sustainable blueprint to move forward.
All right, first up, let's talk about what it actually feels like. This goes so far beyond a number on a scale. We're talking about a deeply personal human experience. So let's start with a person, not a statistic. For many people, like 27-year-old Sagar here, the heaviest burden isn't physical at all. It's the crushing weight on their confidence, their social life, their spirit. So when doctors use the term clinical obesity, what do they really mean? It's not about how someone looks. It's a medical diagnosis, where excess body fat starts to pose a genuine risk to a person's overall health. And how do they measure that risk? Well, they often use tools like the body mass index, or BMI, and waist circumference. But here's something that's really important to know. These numbers are not one size fits all. The healthy ranges can actually be different depending on your ethnicity, like you see here with the specific standards for an Indian population.
And this is the weight that no scale can measure, but it's often the heaviest. We're talking about deep social anxiety, the dread of trying to find clothes that fit, or even avoiding simple joys like going to the movies. It can really affect every corner of a person's life.
So this brings us to a huge question. Is this all just some kind of failure of willpower? Let me be clear. The science tells a very, very different story, and it's way more complex.
The overwhelming answer from a biological standpoint? Absolutely not. Willpower is just a tiny piece of the puzzle. Let's pull back the curtain and look at the powerful forces inside our own bodies that can turn a simple craving into an intense, almost uncontrollable urge.
Okay, so picture this hormonal tug-of-war happening inside you. On one end of the rope, you've got ghrelin, the go hormone, basically shouting, "Hey, we're hungry." And on the other end, you have leptin, the stop hormone, that's supposed to say, "Okay, we're full now." The problem is, this whole communication system can break. The go signal gets stuck on, and the brain starts totally ignoring the stop signal.
And that breakdown creates this powerful, vicious feedback loop. You eat something high in sugar or fat, and boom, your brain gets a hit of dopamine, that feel-good chemical. But then, your blood sugar crashes, and you get these intense cravings. And get this, the bad bacteria in your gut are actually sending signals to your brain screaming for more sugar. It's wild.
Now, it's super important to remember this isn't just happening inside our bodies. Our modern world has basically laid out 4 very clear traps that make this biological battle even harder to win.
Trap number 1 is so simple we just sit all the time. Our jobs, our cars, our couches. Our bodies are basically in this constant low-energy burn mode, which just slams the brakes on our metabolism.
Trap number 2 is the constant flood of sugar, both the obvious kind and the hidden kind, in all the ultra-processed foods that line our grocery store shelves. These aren't just foods, they're products that have been scientifically engineered to hijack that craving cycle we just talked about.
And trap number 3, a widespread lack of good sleep. I mean, who gets enough sleep anymore? But when you don't, it directly messes with those hunger hormones, cranking up your cravings for high-calorie foods the very next day. And the 4th trap, you probably guessed it, chronic stress. Being stressed out all the time floods our bodies with a hormone called cortisol. And cortisol's main job in that situation is to tell your body to store energy as fat, especially right around your midsection.
Okay, I know that sounds like a lot to be up against. We've seen the problem, we've seen the traps. But here is the good news. We can build a blueprint to navigate this world. So let's talk about what actually works.
A really simple but powerful place to start is this 3 F's framework. It was shared by Dr. Shubham Vatsya, who actually used it to lose 40 kilograms. It's all about fiber to keep you full and your blood sugar steady, fermented foods to feed the good guys in your gut, and fasting, which just means giving your digestive system a break, especially overnight.
So to build on that, let's stock your toolkit. When you think about your plate, try to load it up with fiber-rich greens and lean proteins from things like legumes or fish. And for movement,
research shows two amazing options: jogging, which is incredibly effective at fighting genetic risks, and yoga, which is just fantastic for managing stress.
And please, don't sleep on these 3 game changers. Seriously. First, make protein a priority. It just helps you feel satisfied for way longer. Second, build some muscle. Think of muscle as your body's metabolic currency. The more you have, the more calories you're burning, even when you're just sitting there. And finally, master NEAT. It sounds complicated, but it just means all the little movements you do all day long. They can add up to burn more calories than an actual workout.
Okay, let's bring this all home. We've got the science, we've got the blueprint, but none of it works without the right mindset.
The journey isn't about some exciting new hack. As Dr. Vatsya puts it so well, legends are created in boredom. It is all about doing the simple, effective things over and over again, day after day, even when it feels, well, boring.
And really, the biggest takeaway here is to shift your thinking. This isn't a diet with a finish line. It's a journey. It's about making small, positive choices that build on each other, day by day. The goal is always progress, not perfection.
And that leaves us with this final thought from Dr. Pao. We've gone through the science, the traps, and the solutions. So the only question left is, which group will you be in? Because understanding is the first step, but taking action, that's what truly makes it happen.